Arsenal has fumbled where it matters most. Arsenal Football Club, yes, this has been one of your best season, or this is in line to be one of the best season we've seen from Arsenal in the last 2 decades. But when it comes to crossing the line, this was a massive test. A game against Manchester City in a Carabao Cup final. That is a big test. That is also a place to make a statement and let people know that what is happening this season is not a surprise. This is where you place a stamp on what you've been building on this season and serve as a confirmation that you are serious about winning something this season. You've done the hard part. It has been a very rough journey from the beginning of the season till this point in the season. Now we are in the ending phase of the season where everything is basically on the line. We are at the stage of the season where trophies start counting, and this, what we saw tonight in this Carabao Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City, that is the best opportunity for you to prove that this is not Arsenal of old. Hey, we are serious about crossing the line this season. In fact, we don't like talking about quadruple, but go and check Piers Morgan. I mean, Piers Morgan is one of the biggest Arsenal fans in the world, and a whole lot of Arsenal fans out there. They've been mentioning quadruple. We are winning it all. We are winning everything. We are top of the list in the Premier League. We are winning the Champions League. We are winning the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. How about you chill out? How about you pass the first big test? And here it is today. Big test against Arsenal. And seriously, this means more. It's not just about the trophy that is on the line. It means so much more. Here is a good example. You faced Manchester City today. We all go for international break. Once we are back from international break, Arsenal and Manchester City will be meeting again. I think they have just one game in the weekend. Then in midweek, they will face each other again. This time around, it would be in the Premier League. Now, you are ahead of Man City with 9 points in the Premier League. But Man City have a game in hand. So let's say they play their one game in hand, they reduce the points to 6 points advantage. They face Arsenal. Only God knows how that game is going to unfold. But if the Man City we saw today show up, I mean, that means your 9 points gap is slowly turning into 3 points gap. Now let's not forget that Man City can now focus on the Premier League and the FA Cup. They can focus on the two. As for Arsenal, you still have Champions League there. Even if you are not playing serious contenders in the Champions League, your next game is going to be against Sporting CP in the Champions League. It is not the most serious sides out there, but you also know that you can't take it for granted. So this game, a win in this game meant so much more, and from all indication, Man City came out on top. Very brilliant game, very amazing game. In my preview of the game, before going into this game, I said that this is going to be one of those games where there are not going to be a lot of goals in it. I mentioned that the tactical side of the game would be interesting to see. I also said that it could end up being a boring game. Boring in the sense that you're not going to see a serious attacking play from both sides, especially if they finish goalless in the first half of the game. Now, at halftime, I was monitoring interaction on social media, and people were saying this game was boring. That's what they said during halftime. Many people were saying this was boring. But like I mentioned, and like I've always been saying, if my team was involved, they can be as boring as possible. Just make sure that by the end of the day, you win the trophy on the line. Now, the first half of the game, Arsenal had a very massive opportunity. Within the space of 5 seconds, they had 3 shots on target. But Manchester City's goalkeeper, not even their first choice, their second choice goalkeeper, he stepped up and got the job done. He stepped up, make triple saves within the space of 5 seconds. And that was why that first half ended as a draw for both sides. Arsenal had their moments of attacking brilliance, if we can call it that. Man City also had their moments. But what you saw in the first half is that the first 10-15 minutes, Arsenal tried to play a very attacking football. They also tried to press very deeply. But after the first 15 minutes, no, they relaxed. They started sitting back. Now, both sides were basically sitting back, trying not to make mistakes. But when it came to the second half, going into the second half, I was thinking, oh, Arsenal will pull the same tactics. They will start by pressing. They will start with a serious attacking football. But that was not the second half we saw. From the beginning of the second half till the 70th, 75th minute, it was all about Man City. Man City were having so much fun, having too much fun, pressing. They were trying to create so much, and by the end of the day, through a very messed up goalkeeping mistake, very messed up, very ridiculous goalkeeping mistake, Man City got the chance to score. And now, before the mistake even happened, you could see that Kepa was not himself. Think about it. Before the mistake happened that led to goal, Kepa already made a first mistake. And that mistake was when he ran out of his box to basically hold off Doku. When he ran out of his box, he was out of the goal. He tried to pin down Doku and he picked up a yellow card for that. In fact, when he picked up a yellow card, Pep was being very reactionary on the touchline because he believed a yellow card is not enough punishment for that offense. Little did he know that Kepa was about to give them a win for that game. Now, one thing that I would have really emphasized on would have been on Semenyo, because when Kepa was given a yellow card and Man City had a free kick to play, Semenyo stepped up, and I don't know if I've seen a worse free kick than that. See, when you are taking free kicks, especially in that position, at least get it on target. If you want to go direct, get it on target. If you don't want to go direct, put the ball into the box. Just allow others to fight for it inside the box. But that was very different from what Semenyo did. Nonetheless, they ended up winning the game, so we are not going to emphasize too much on that. But Kepa, his first mistake led to him picking up a yellow card. His second mistake led to the goal that was scored by Man City. And immediately Man City scored the first goal. Within the space of 4 minutes, 60th minute they score, 64th minute they scored the second goal, and that was the end of everything. That was the end of it all. Within the space of 4 minutes, let's just say 5 minutes interval, that was what it took for Man City to score the 2 goals, and they locked up. They scored the 2 goals, gave themselves 10 minutes of trying to press, trying to create more chances, and they just locked up. And that was just the end of it all. Arsenal couldn't do anything. They couldn't get chances. They couldn't even create any decent chance in the second half of the game. Think about it. I can't remember any decent chance Arsenal created. Funny enough, one thing we know that works very well for Arsenal is set pieces, corner kicks. Arsenal only had 1 corner kick in the second half of the game, and it was even in the first 5 or first 10 minutes of the second half. Unbelievable performance. Very poor performance from the side of Arsenal. Now, one thing that will surely be going through the mind of their coach is the decision he made to start Kepa in this game. But honestly, I'm not going to beat him. Like, it's not something to read too much into. Yes, I know that Kepa is not their number 1 goalkeeper, and he should have gone strong for a game like this, considering the fact that they don't have another game coming up in 2 days time or 3 days time. All of these guys are leaving for international break. So he should have gone the strongest, which is something I mentioned in the previous game. And fair to him, he went very strong, except on the goalkeeping department. Nonetheless, we've seen Kepa handle the goalposts both across other competition. So this, it's happening today. It was just meant to happen. It was just meant to happen, and unfortunately, Kepa would be the one that all the fingers will be pointed at today. But if there is something to be concerned about on the side of Arsenal, it has to be the same issue that everybody have been raising about Arsenal this season. When it matters most, can you count on your attackers to create something for you? When it matters most, can you count on your Saka, your Corres, your Martinellis? Can you count on them to generate results for you, to create solid chances? When you come into a game where your opponent knows you are going to capitalize on set pieces, and they try as much as possible to reduce your chances of getting those set pieces, like today, where Arsenal played for the whole 90 minutes and they had only 3 corner kicks. In games like this, where the set pieces are not coming, the corner kicks are not coming, can you count on your attackers to get the job done? Because today, I was very surprised. In the 90 plus 3 minutes, I had the mention of Saka and I was like, wait, Saka? Is Saka still on this pitch? Saka played 90 minutes today. I was very surprised about that, because he was lost in the second half of the game. He was inexistent. Even the substitutions they did, I don't think they had any substitutes that came on and massively impacted the game, especially on the attacking side of play. I don't think any of the attackers came on to make any solid impact in the game. Now, that is something we've all been talking about this season. Maybe with what they saw today, it could be something they will look towards finding a solution for. But from where I'm standing, from what I saw today, I don't think the Premier League is done and dusted. How many games remaining? We have about 7 games remaining, and for Man City they have about 8 games remaining. The season is not over. It is seriously not over. So let's just pay attention to what happens next. This season may even get a lot more interesting than we imagined it would turn out to be. So, Arsenal fans, are you interested in pointing fingers, pushing blame, finding who to blame for today's loss? Or is it something you need to forget as soon as possible and focus on what comes next? Tell me about that. What is your where do you stand on it? And with that, I think this is our last cup game coverage until we now focus on international football, which is coming up, because the international break is on. It is on, it is spicy, it is firing. I mean, if this is your first time coming across the channel, don't be shy. Follow the channel, stay in touch, on your notification. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep growing this community. Thank you.